Hi, this is Gayle from BERNINA of Naperville, and I'm getting ready to go into work tomorrow. I've had my weekend, and there's really been something that I've wanted to share with you for a long time. No, it's not the part 3 of my wedding dress story, but that's coming, I promise. I do. But it's more about like lately, we have been getting a lot of antique Berninas in at the store. Either, sometimes people are just donating them to us or they're having them serviced, which, hey, they're still running. And that's the amazing thing about seeing these old machines. But each machine that comes in, it really has a story. And I really think that these stories are so special and wonderful that it really should be shared with more than just the staff and the people when they come into the stores. So we're starting a series, and I'm calling it BERNINA Love Stories. And just to share some of these things with you. So the first thing I want to do is, if you have a BERNINA love story that you would like to share with us, please send me an email. It's Gayle, Gayle, at BERNINAofNaperville.com. And if it's short, that's fine. If it's long, that's fine. And I will do my best to read it in our segments, our BERNINA Love Story segments. The story starts, there are just so many things that I think that there's not another appliance in your life that might see the things, observe the things, go with us on these journeys like our sewing machine does. I mean, mine could tell very funny stories, good stories, sad stories. It's certainly seen a lot. It's seen many, many wedding dresses. It's seen, me at my best and maybe not so much the best, and I'm sure yours could tell wonderful stories as well. So that's where we're going to start. So my first story was sent to me by a customer of ours that kind of came in to see us right at the pandemic. And why Isabelle stands out is because she is Swiss, and she has a Bernina that was just so amazing when it came into the store, and it really just needed a very small tune-up. And I just thought the story of her telling me how she brought it here and everything just was a good story. But there's more to it than what she's written to me. But I just want to share with you what she has shared with me about her machine. So, my Bernina story. Growing up in Switzerland, I remember when my dad gifted my mom in 1957 or 58, I was only 13 or 14 years old, with a beautiful new Bernina. And this was a Bernina 530, like the old Bernina 530s from then. And my mom was an excellent seamstress and was so happy to go from her mom's old treadle to this electric wonder. She told me then, when you get married, I will give it to you, and I come to you to do some sewing. Unfortunately, she passed away in 1961, and 3 years later, when my dad also passed away, I got her Bernina 530 to keep the memories. Eventually, the old treadle from Grandma, a Foff, made it to my house as a memento to my family seamstress history too. Fast forward. In 1971, when I married my Swiss husband, Peter, he carried my Bernina 530 as a hand luggage by plane to Chicago. Over the years, I did some sewing while raising our daughter and son. Eventually, I bought another machine. It was a Singer, which was a bit more modern, but I was never happy with it. In March 2020, at the start of the pandemic, my friend Regina urged me to make some masks, but after a few, I was so frustrated. The machine just didn't work right. I almost gave up. Then I found the BERNINA of Naperville dealer and had both my machines overhauled by Chris. While there, I just looked at these beautiful new and modern machines on display. Gayle and Amy explained all the different machines. My head was spinning. But the next day, when I went back to pick up my old machines, I went also home with a brand new BERNINA 435. I remember that day very well. A week later, I called Gayle and told her I have only one complaint. She was worried and asked, "What is that?" This is very true, so true. I just wanted to complain that I didn't buy one sooner. Happy Gayle and happy me. For many months of sewing and after almost 3,000 masks, in April 2021, we went to visit our daughter in Florida. Of course, my machine went with me, and my daughter loved it so much, I left it there. Back home, I had to get another one, so I traded my mom's old Bernina 530 in for another new Bernina 480. She trusted me with the 530 that Peter carried as luggage from Switzerland. This means so much to me. While sewing, I constantly think of my mom, and I miss both so much. Nevertheless, I started to make some quilted pillows and bags, and eventually my first quilt. I was very happy with my machine until I wanted to do some more things, like embroidering, not just on some borders, but actually stitching out pictures. So what did I do? I went back to Bernina of Naperville. Gayle was so helpful for me to decide that I needed an embroidery machine, and with it, another machine capable of it. So I traded my Bernina 480 in on my new Bernina 570 with embroidery and learning how to embroider and enjoying my new baby. And then she asked the question, what's next? I just love this story because I have to tell you, Isabelle says she has made 3,000 masks, and she has a Facebook page, and she puts up her masks, and she kind of like says row A, B, C, and then pick from column, and that's how you buy your masks from Isabelle. Then you private messenger her. And I wear her Swiss mask that made out of the Swiss fabric of the flag all the time. And then she also now is doing bags and everything. And I just love it. So Isabelle, thank you so much for sharing this story. I feel like I have inherited a part of your family. It's downstairs. I look at it every day when I get started to sew because I love your story so much. I will not leave your machine in the store. It stays in this protective environment. Now, I have another story, and then we'll be done for this evening. But yeah. Okay, well, enough. Gayle, stop musing and read the letters. Okay, I will. My Bernina love story starts when I was probably 10 years old. I was obsessed with fashion, Duran Duran, lifestyles of the rich and famous, and trying to get my hair to look like Sammy Joe's from Dynasty. As the glam desires switched to the punk culture, I wanted to be able to unsew styles I was finding in mass market stores. And by mass market, I mean Kmart, Zayres, and Bradley's. That's right, only the finest for me. But before I go on with this story, I should backtrack just a little. I am the only child of a couple who had me late in life. They had a little nest egg, which they were gracious enough to use to provide the best care for me. I am lucky, I realize that. And when I say that on birthdays, Christmas, Easter, and have I forgotten a holiday, I was showered with gifts. I'm not exaggerating, but the one thing I asked for on every occasion since the age of 10 was a sewing machine. It never came. But a Donnie and Marie record player, Barbie dream house, piano, guitar, and other pastimes arrived like clockwork. Instead of getting the machine, I took my mom's 1960s cocktail dresses apart to investigate how they were constructed, reconstructed with hand stitching, and took up other needle arts that required absolutely zero machinery. I could knit, crochet, cross-stitch, and needlepoint by the time I was 12. My punk-ass self was turning into a March sister instead of Deborah Harry. In a series of serendipitous decisions, I ended up graduating high school and choosing a path that seemed like an easy one, theater. But here's the deal about theater. When you are a performance major, you are taught several trades because in the theater, one often is the talent, the set builder, costumer, and lighting rigger. My first semester had me sewing in the costume shop. Thank goodness for this class. I learned to sew with a sewing machine. I read a pattern, use a serger, make hats, and the basic concepts of draping. Now, can I have a sewing machine? After some savings, I had $200 that I used to purchase a Singer, these Singers again, whatever machine from Service Merchandise. It sewed, almost, so I bought another one that was $300 because I thought it would be better. It was, slightly. I used this machine to make a lot of things. I started a business with this machine, but it was just not doing what I wanted. Was I horrible at sewing? After a friend coaxed me to get a better machine from a reputable dealer, I started a search. This friend insisted I buy a Bernina, but I was like, what is that? I started the search at a store that carried a German-made brand, and the gentleman working in the store took off his belt right in front of me and started sewing on it. I didn't buy that machine. I went to another store that sold a Scandinavian brand, and the machine cover came off when the lady was trying to show me how to thread it. But while she was trying to reattach the plastic thread cover, I looked at the Bernina machine, the only one they had on display. It had everything I needed: keyhole buttonhole, stitch memory, front-loading bobbin case, and a slide-on table. I had a $700 budget and ended up spending $2,800 on a Bernina 1260. Immediately, I was a sewing virtuosa. No tension issues, no rethreading time after time, perfect buttonholes, and it was really quiet. I was in love, BERNINA love. That moment of seeing what could be done when I had a quality tool was life-changing, not just figuratively, but literally. Not too long after I bought that Bernina 1260, I moved from Virginia to Vermont. I got a temporary job in a local quilt store. That temporary job turned out to be the best career move I have ever made. The quilt store carried Bernina machines, and I was actually pretty good at using them, selling them, and inspiring others. I completed the Bernina of America SMARTS, that self-motivated applied retail training system, and ultimately opened my own store. I was so in Bernina love that my real goal was to work for Bernina one day. Shockingly, June 2009, I started as a Bernina district sales manager, and then in 2012, I transferred to the Bernina marketing department, where I oversaw national promotions and sponsorships. Little old me was having input on selling and representing a product that I loved so much. The marketing job had me traveling to fashion shows, handbag awards, dealerships throughout the country, and bringing the cosplay community to Bernina. I am proud of the work I did there and will think of it fondly for the rest of my life. I met wonderful people, worked for someone who turned out to be a valuable friend, and the job had me settling in a wonderful community full of fantastic sewists, quilters, creatives, and friends. Yay to Bernina for being a part of making my dreams come true. The Bernina chapter for me is only just beginning. Although I loved my corporate job at Bernina, the entrepreneur spirit still filled my soul. In 2019, I left to open a new dealership with the romantic love of my life. But Bernina love is real and still going strong at BERNINA of Naperville. And that is my story. So please send me yours and I'll cry read them right on our YouTube channel. Anyway, if you want to see more videos like this or tutorial videos, don't forget to check out our BERNINA of Naperville YouTube channel. It's easy. It's youtube.com/BERNINA of Naperville, and there you can like, comment, subscribe, and every once in a while, hear Camilla snore and watch me cry. See ya.